All right, welcome sleep technologists. Look, today we're not just, reviewing another procedure. Think of this as a mission briefing for one of the most critical tests in our entire field, the Multiple Sleep Latency Test, or MSLT. How you execute it determines its success, and believe me, a patient's future can literally hang in the balance. So let's get into it.
So let's start by getting a handle on exactly what's at stake here. A false positive, that can lead to a lifelong diagnosis for a condition someone doesn't even have. And a false negative, well, that means somebody who desperately needs treatment gets sent home with no answers. You see? There is absolutely no room for error. The protocol is your safeguard, and sticking to it is mandatory.
So here's our mission plan for this explainer. We're going to start by defining the objective and really digging into why this is such a high-stakes test. Then we'll cover the super important pre-test prep, the precise execution of those 5 naps, how to properly score and document everything, and finally, we'll debrief on how to avoid the most common and critical errors.
First up, the high-stakes sleep test. Let's get crystal clear on our objective and the language we're going to be using throughout this whole mission.
The whole core principle of the MSLT is objective measurement. See, this isn't about asking a patient if they feel sleepy. Nope. It's about gathering hard physiological data to prove or disprove a central disorder of hypersomnolence, like narcolepsy. Your job is to capture that data flawlessly.
And to do that, you need to know 2 key terms. First, sleep latency. That's just how long it takes the patient to fall asleep in one nap. Simple enough, right? Then we have the mean sleep latency, or MSL. Now that's the big one. We get this by averaging the sleep latencies from all the nap trials. This final number, it's a major piece of the diagnostic puzzle.
The other critical piece of data you're on the hunt for is a SORM. That stands for Sleep Onset REM period. This is when a patient jumps into REM sleep super quickly. We're talking within 15 minutes of falling asleep. Spotting one of these is significant. Spotting 2 or more is a major indicator for narcolepsy.
And these right here are the main reasons a doctor will order the test in the first place. You are on the front lines of diagnosing or ruling out these pretty life-altering conditions. The data you provide is going to directly inform what the physician does next.
All right, on to our second phase, pre-test patient prep. I want you to think of this as your non-negotiable pre-flight checklist. Getting this right is absolutely essential for a valid test.
These 3 pre-test steps are basically your gatekeeping duties. You have to verify the patient's sleep diaries for at least 1 to 2 weeks. You have to meticulously document every single medication, and you have to confirm the results of the overnight sleep study. Skip just one of these, and the entire MSLT could be invalid.
Now that third step, confirming the prior night's polysomnogram, or PSG, it comes with a hard and fast rule. It has to show at least 6 hours of total sleep time. This is to make sure we're not confusing the results of just being sleep-deprived with a real chronic disorder. If the patient is just tired, the test is useless. You notify the doctor, and the mission might just get called off.
All right, prep is complete. Now we get to the core of the operation, mission execution. This is where you run those 5 nap trials with absolute total precision.
The timing is rigid. It's not a suggestion. The first nap starts 1.5 to 3 hours after the patient finally wakes up. After that, it is like clockwork, a new nap opportunity every 2 hours. This strict schedule is what ensures we're measuring the patient's sleepiness consistently across the entire day.
And before every single one of those 5 naps, you have to run through this checklist. No exceptions. From checking the electrodes and verifying signals, all the way to making sure the room is quiet. This repetition is what creates scientifically valid, comparable data points across the whole test. And the level of standardization required is just absolute. This exact phrase, "Please lie quietly, keep your eyes closed, and try to fall asleep," has to be delivered the same way every time. No ad-libbing, no changing it up. Any little variation could influence the patient's effort and totally contaminate the data. The rules for ending each nap are just as strict and are completely black and white. If the patient does not fall asleep, you stop the trial after exactly 20 minutes. If they do fall asleep, you mark that sleep onset time and let the recording go for exactly 15 more minutes. You have to follow these rules to the letter. Okay, now this is critical. Your mission doesn't just pause between naps. You are responsible for keeping that patient awake. If they doze off, even for a second, it can make their sleep latency on the next test artificially longer, and that skews the results. You have to watch them, intervene if you have to, and document everything.
So once all 5 naps are complete, the mission shifts. Now it's time for meticulous data analysis and documentation. This is where you put together the intelligence report, so to speak. Your first calculation is that mean sleep latency. You'll add up the sleep latencies from all 5 nap trials and just divide the total by 5. Now, it's super important to remember that even if a patient doesn't fall asleep during a trial, that latency gets recorded as the full 20 minutes, and it has to be included in that final average.
Your final documentation is the official record of the mission. It has to be comprehensive. I mean, everything from the prior night's sleep time to any behaviors you saw between naps, it all needs to be in there. Just remember that golden rule of medical documentation. If it wasn't written down, it didn't happen.
And that brings us to our final section, the mission debrief. Let's go over the common errors so you can make sure your missions are always successful.
These are the protocol violations that can completely invalidate an entire study. For example, calling REM sleep without confirming that associated muscle paralysis, that chenatonia, that's a critical scoring error. Every single point on this list is a direct result of not following the procedures we just talked about. This is your what not to do checklist.
So here's the crucial point. An error isn't just a bad data point. It means the patient, who's already suffering, has to come back and do this entire thing all over again. They lose time, they face more discomfort, and their diagnosis gets delayed, all because of a preventable mistake. You know, ultimately, it all comes down to you. Your discipline, your attention to detail, and your strict adherence to this protocol are the most important factors in protecting the integrity of the test and, by extension, the patient.
This is so much more than a technical procedure. It's a profound responsibility you hold. A person's diagnosis, their treatment plan, their quality of life, it's all in your hands. The mission is yours. You have to be prepared to get it right every single time.